Personal log, celestial date 218.239.07. I'm getting ready to leave Dead Rock Station and head out to look for Wellspring, an old settlement that's long since been abandoned and is now a derelict, at least according to the records that Pyro has. I think that this is the last place that Mainframe was known to be hiding, and I'm hoping that he or she is still there because I think Mainframe may be able to tell me where the raiders are who stole Zephyr's artifact. But to get there, I'm going to have to go through uncharted drifts because the only two known passages in this sector are the ones that join Deadrock, Brink, and Relic. Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is Starforged Alpha Cluster. We are with Krista, our uh, lore hunting character, and Krista has gone through 9 sessions up till now. This is our 10th. In the previous session, since Brennan was of no help to her, she went back to her ship, she healed up a little bit, and then she went to her computer and she got a story clue that Mainframe was a gifted hacker, and I decided that probably means she's an adept, one of these people who is like almost a living supercomputer, and some of them run the Weave and other ones run ships, and I wouldn't be surprised if she ran a large cruiser or even a settlement or something as its quote-unquote supercomputer um, for the Shattered Federation, which is the Raider faction that extends throughout the entire Forge in settled space, and so we figured that out, and then Krista made a connection with Dash, who's the bartender of Dead Rock's Cantina, and he told her that he thought that uh, Mainframe was last seen in the derelict Wellspring, which is a derelict settlement, it turns out, and this is it right down here. And so she then used her Lore Hunter ability to secure an advantage to see if she could ever remember having heard about um, this derelict, since Pyro was a Relic Hunter and he explored vaults and derelicts with her in tow. I feel like most of the time he probably left her on the ship and did the exploring himself, and she's fairly new to this, but she's done enough of it that she's got some memories of the things that he's talked about. And if we remember that Pyro had inscribed his knowledge throughout the ship in the main hallways on all 3 decks, or I guess the bottom 2 decks, because there isn't really a long main hallway on the top deck. And Krista remembered where he had inscribed the star chart that shows where Wellspring is in this sector. So she now knows where it is, but she doesn't know exactly how to get there, and that is what we're going to be doing in this session. So we are all set, and Krista is going to be undertaking a journey to Wellspring. So let's open up our character sheet, and oh, it looks like they have changed it somehow. Oh, I know what happened. I changed the way this works. Let's go. This sheet, the default sheet should be character sheet V2, I believe. Nope. All right, so let me pause it and figure out what I did wrong here. Okay, we're back. I just needed the Starforged default sheet, and we need to travel, right? If our vow right now is to get the base location from Mainframe, so we need to navigate to Wellspring. That is our next step in this quest. So we're going to create another progress track. This is going to be a dangerous journey because we're within this sector. We're going to be journey to Wellspring. And the way this works is that when you do it, when you go through this passage, when we go through the drift over and over again, we're going to find some waypoints. This won't be a passage that's charted for everyone, but it will be a passage that Krista charts. So when she comes back, she won't have to journey. She can just set a course, and she will record this passage in her ship's log, so that she can always come back and forth whenever she wants in a single trip. But before we do that, we have to actually run this journey. So let me set up the journey a little bit and I'll be right back. All right, so we're all set. This is a dangerous journey, which means we're going to have to get through 4 or 5 waypoints, get 2 progress for each one, and we'll see how it goes. So the first thing we're going to do, so before we set out, is there anything we need to do? I don't think so. I don't think we need to secure advantage. We got 9 momentum. So let's just go ahead and undertake an expedition. So we're going to leave. So Krista radios the dockmaster. She tells her, I'm done with this docking bay and I'll be leaving. And he thanks her and she wires whatever credits she owes them. And then she lifts off from the hangar and flies out of the hulk of this section of the Titan ship that was turned into the settlement of Dead Rock. And she flies out through the toxic atmosphere of Cinder and back through volcanic steam and everything and back out into space. She breaks orbit and then she starts heading toward the sort of bottom of this map and Wellspring. And we're going to undertake an expedition. So she's blazing a new route through perilous space. And I think she's staying vigilant. She has no reason to rush. So she's going to use her wits. And we get an opportunity, a strong hit with a match. So she moves forward. And I think what I want to do is just sort of mark these hexes that we've been through without kind of doing too much. Hang on. So I know which routes we've gone through, and then let me delete that. Let me mark it and I'll bring you back, and then I'll make it pretty once we know we have the route already finished. All right, so I'm just going to put a line here and I will color the hexes in later. We mark progress, and we're going to find a waypoint, so we have to envision what we get, and we also get an opportunity. So let's go to the oracles, and let's roll. Let's see, what is the opportunity? All right, so let's see what we find, and we're in the Outlands. So let's roll what we find, and then we'll see what opportunity we get. So what we find is a stellar object, and a stellar object is a star, I believe. So what we find is a glowing orange star. So right here, she comes out of the drift, and we find another star. So let me set that up, and I will bring you guys back. All right, guys. So we ended up with this at this orange star, Sigma Chronos, and now we're going to roll what our opportunity is, right? And our opportunity is sensors pinpoint a lurking foe. Okay, so I think, so what is this going to be? Is this going to be the, like a raider ship? Or is this going to be, hang on, let me move the Storm Swift off of here. Let's go to the token and tell it not to always be on. There we go. Is this going to be, could it be the space entity? Is that lurking here? Maybe she's found it as an opportunity. I don't really have a... So before doing this, we need to get a gamma ray burst shield. So we don't have that yet. But since this is not a bad thing, it's a good thing. I don't think we're going to be jumped by this guy. I think we might find a raider. I think we very well might find a raider here in one of their small ships. Is that what we find? Let's ask the Oracle. I don't know. I think likely. Is it a raider? Yes. Okay. So we have a raider ship in our sector, and are we going to be able to get away from this individual? I think she's going to try and avoid it. She doesn't want to get into battle. So I think we're going to face danger, unfortunately, plus shadow, and see if she can sort of. So what she's going to try, what Chris is going to try to do while her Eidolon drive spins down, she needs a few hours. She sees this orange star. Her scanners pick up the Raider, like as she pops out of space, the Eidolon drive shuts down, and all the sort of the drift of this sort of purplish streaks of, well, like looks almost like a wormhole that she's going through. It's sort of this reddish purple, and it's sort of spinning clockwise around her, and she's going through, and all of a sudden it stops, and in that moment you sort of drift forward very quickly, and so she comes in slightly high above the plane of the ecliptic, or the plane of where the planets rotate, and she's heading down into it, and she goes down into it. But as she does, she drifts in that. She sees in that plane there's a Raider ship, another Stinger ship, on the other side of the sun. So she's going to try to position herself quickly with the star between her and them, so that their sensors don't pick her up. So if we face danger and succeed at this, then they're not going to pick her up. If we fail, then it could be combat, or she could be, try to hide in an asteroid field or something and get away. So let's face danger and see what happens. And she's doing shadow because she's trying to be stealthy. And we get, oh my, miss, or we could turn it into a weak hit. Let's burn momentum and make it a weak hit. So that means she succeeds, but not without cost. So what's the cost going to be? So let me think about that. All right, I think she has to lay low and wait, and she's got to lose even more momentum waiting for this thing to leave the system. She's got to sort of wait and wait and wait, and then she kind of floats the ship. She's actually no. She instead of, she doesn't have to see it leave. She stays where she is, and she waits and waits and waits, and she can't move or do anything until the Eidolon drive cools down and is ready to spin up again. They don't find her, but now she's taken a lot of time and she's lost a lot of momentum. And that's the end of that waypoint. She's not going to have the opportunity to explore this area because she's just got to wait and hide. And so now she's going to undertake the next leg of the journey and undertake expedition again. And again, so now she's going to move quickly, right? She's going to try to go get out of here and move quickly, I think. So this is with edge. So now we're going to roll edge and see how we do. And we get a weak hit. So we reach a waypoint, but this progress costs us. So we can make a suffer move at -2, or 2 suffer moves at -1, or face a peril at the waypoint. So let me think about what I want to do here. Let's face a peril at the waypoint. I think it's kind of cool. So let's envision what we see. So what do we see here? We are in the Outlands. And let's move to the next waypoint. Here, I guess. And we get a dense nebula cloud. So let me set that up and I'll bring you back. All right, so we have found a dense nebula cloud. And I've got a little token here for it, or a tile. And we got to mark progress. And then we face a peril. So let us see what sort of a space peril we are going to confront. And we get a threatening life form draws near. So is this the gamma ray? I think that's likely, since we know it exists in this sector. So let's go ahead and ask the Oracle, and we're going to call it likely that it is the gamma ray. And we're going to have to get out of here. So it is the gamma ray. Okay, so Krista sees this thing coming, and we now know where it is. So let's go ahead and put it on the map. No, it shouldn't be that big. Hang on. Let me fix that. Okay, so the gamma ray is here, and what we want to do is try and get away from it. So I think we're going to have to face danger again, and we can't explore this waypoint either. So let me just draw in the path from here to here. Okay, whoops. And then we're going to try to get away from the gamma ray. So I think, yeah, all we can do is face danger. And if not, then this thing is probably going to attack the ship. So let's first see if we can get away from it without getting into combat. Otherwise, we might have to get into combat with it. So we're going to face danger plus edge. We don't really have anything we can do here, I don't think. Can the ship help us? No. It doesn't help us with any moves. So let's face danger plus edge and see if we can get out of here. And we get, oh man, we keep rolling ones. We get a weak hit. So I think the gamma ray fires and we get caught in it, but we get enough out of the way, we can put enough distance between it and us, and then we can engage the Eidolon drive again. So so I think what we have to do is I think it's going to take, the starship is going to take a hit. All right, so it's a -1 suffer move, so we're going to go here. The starship takes some damage. Because again, there are no shields in this game. We don't have like Star Trek shields, and she doesn't have a gamma ray shield yet for this thing. So, and in fact, I might want to make some sort of a custom asset for it as a module, unless I can find a module that works. Like if there's a shields module, we'll see. But first, we've lost some integrity, and now we have to withstand damage, right? So the vehicle has stood some damage. And now so now we're going to try and see if we can withstand that damage. So I guess we just roll plus integrity. Okay, so we roll it and we get a strong hit. So the strong hit, so the gamma ray burst comes through, but Krista has experience with this now. It glances, it grazes off her ship. She gets mostly out of the way, but she has experience, so she bypasses some circuitry. She sets the ship on autopilot, and she jumps sort of underneath the computer and starts bypassing the fried circuits, and she's able to keep it together. She runs down to engineering and makes some quick repairs and then runs back, and she's like winded and tired and sweating, but she's managed to bypass everything, and the integrity goes back up to 5, and we were able to get away from this nebula. So when I move the ship out, then I'm going to put the gamma ray on here because we now know, at least for now, where it is. Now, I don't know how quickly it moves, but at least for now, we know where it is. So she is going to get back in the ship and undertake an expedition again. And I think, again, she's got to do this plus edge because she's trying to get out of the way quickly. So as soon as the Eidolon drive spins up and is ready, she hits it. And again, the purple sort of wormhole comes through and she starts flying through the drift, and we undertake an expedition plus edge. And we get a strong hit, so we reach a waypoint. So we're going to mark progress. This is our 3rd waypoint. So we're getting closer. And so we go here. We're going to move the gamma ray in. So the gamma ray is on top of the nebula. And let me just set it up so that it's only hovered by owner. I wish it wouldn't default to always for everyone to show the name. Okay, so we reach a waypoint. And so we now have to envision the waypoint, right? So we got a strong hit. We envision the location. And let me pause while I put the route in. Okay, that brings you back, and now let's go into space and see what we find in the Outlands here. And we get a 2, a stellar object. So again, we're going to roll and see what kind of star we get. And we get a black hole. Oh boy. All right, so let me set this up and I'll bring you back. All right, so we're at a black hole, but we got a strong hit. So we're not getting sucked into the black hole or anything. We come out of the drift, and Krista sees this swirling vortex of stellar gas spinning around and a big giant hole of nothing in the middle. And she realizes it's a black hole. And I think she's curious about this. So she might want to explore this waypoint. But before she does that, I think what I want to have her do is prep her ship, right? So she recognizes that this thing is not a normal star, and so what she's going to do is take some time. She's going to rest. She's going to take a nap because she hasn't the last couple of waypoints. She hasn't been able to stop and rest, and it takes a few hours to spin up and down the Eidolon drive. So she was in the drift for maybe a couple hours, and then she was in the Sigma Chronos system for a couple hours, and then she was in the drift another couple hours, and then she was with the gamma ray for a couple hours, and now she's here. So it's been like 10 hours or something, and she's tired. So she's gonna take a nap. She's gonna eat. And then she's going to go to her computers in the back of her bridge, and she is going to see if she can tune the sensors to help her study the black hole and study the system so that the gravitational interference doesn't kind of mess with her instrumentation. So she's going to prep, and so she's going to secure an advantage, and I think this is using wits. So we get a weak hit. So we're going to gain +2 momentum. And then what she's going to do is explore the waypoint, right? And so this is also using plus wits. So let's see what happens when she explores this waypoint. We get a weak hit. So we uncover something interesting, but it is bound up in a peril or reveals an ominous aspect. Envision what we counter and take 1. So we get a momentum, and what do we find? So I think there's something here that potentially could be of interest to her, but it's caught in the gravity well of the black hole. And exploring it would put the ship and Krista at some danger. So let's roll descriptor and focus and see what it is that we found. And we get blighted energy. So let me think about that. Okay, so here's what I think happens. I think what Chris is going to find here is that surrounding the black hole along the edge of the gravity well, there's like an asteroid field of a shattered planet that couldn't take the stress of the black hole, and her sensors reveal that this field of shattered planet hunks is full of idolium. Right, so there's an asteroid field full of idolium, which is quite valuable, and energy, right? Trapped in the gravity well of this black hole. And by the way, I just named it BH for black hole, K1 for the first one in the Kappa and in the Chronos Tide sector. Okay, so that's interesting, but it's not her goal right now. So she's going to continue on toward Wellspring. So, okay, that's interesting. There's some idolium here. Maybe I can sell that information to Deadrock since they're the miners, right? It's possible she might be able to sell that information back on Deadrock. Maybe somebody there would want to know, and they could send miners here. Let's continue. So we're going to undertake our expedition again, and we're going to continue toward Wellspring. And let's see what happens. Rolling wits. She's not in any need of speed right now. Oh, and we get a strong hit. We reach a waypoint and envision the location and mark progress. So I think, let's say that the drift passage ends here. We mark progress. So let's see. I think, let's go ahead and find, I like exploring. Let's go ahead and do a waypoint, and then we'll head south to Wellspring, and this will be the path that you have to take through the drift. Should we do that, or should we just see if we are there? Um, let's see if we're there. If not, then we'll envision. I think I'm changing my mind. Let's go ahead and roll the progress. Um, let's finish the expedition. We've got 8 progress. Let's hope our dice aren't evil to us. Roll it. And they're evil. We get a weak hit. So we face an unforeseen complication at the end of the expedition. So I think we're here. And we get 1 tick on our Discoveries Legacy track. And we have arrived at Wellspring. So we have done the deed. And let's go ahead and strike that through and mark progress. And we are done with this. No, we don't want to clock. We just want to complete. Okay, so now we have to figure out. There's a complication that we did not foresee. Something dreadful. That's too hard. Let's see if we got. Let me look through the oracles and see which one I want to roll. All right. All right. So before we do this, one of the questions I have is Wellspring just in space, or is it around a star? Now, it is supposed to be in deep space, so I'm going to say that it's unlikely that there's a star here. Let's see. Is there? No, so it is literally in deep space. So let me go ahead and chart the path here. And so that's the path, and I will fix that up in between sessions. And so Krista's here now, so let's bring her over. And so now we have to figure out what's the peril. So I think it's in space. It's in deep space. So let's roll up and see what the peril is. Pirates hunt for prey. Okay, I think the most obvious solution here is the raiders are here. Just like Krista, they found where Mainframe is hiding. So Krista comes out of the drift, and she sees maybe docked at the station. So she sees this. Is it on a planet? Let me try to remember here. No, I don't think so. It's in deep space, right? Get out of here. It's in deep space, right? So let's do the first look. It's a derelict, right? So let's do the outer first look and see what it looks like. She gets here and it is overgrown or entangled. Okay, so I think I don't think that makes any sense. Let's try re-rolling that, because that doesn't make any sense. It's not like on a planet. Stripped exterior. Okay. So a lot of the outside, the sensor arrays, the radar dishes, the guns, all of that was on this settlement, that's all been stripped off. It's on low power mode, right? Condition is limited power, right? I think I made a mistake there. And so it has like a stripped exterior. And I think what she's going to see is that there is a pirate ship that is like docked onto the outside. So I think this is it's like Relic in the sense that it's kind of a donut shaped, right? It's a ring. And the outer part had some docking stations, most of which are like parts have been stripped off. There are no airlocks, but one of them has a pirate ship attached to it. And so I think there's a stinger. And the stingers hold up to 3 pirates, so there are between 1 and 3 pirates on this ship, potentially looking for mainframe. And so when Krista comes into the system, she sees that. And so then the question is, what's she going to do about it? And I don't know the answer to that, and we're at 30 minutes, so I think we'll stop there. We've completed our expedition. We got a little bit of a discovery here, and we've gotten to Wellspring, and now we have to figure out what we're going to do now that we're here. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been Starforged Alpha Cluster.